Welcome back, guys. We're in the midst of a series here between RagnaroK and Patience.
Yeah, 1-1, a very close series. Both of our series today have been really good. I have to say the second one definitely a little bit stranger, like not as epic, because I feel like it's both teams, or rather both players, exchanging blows on each other. And I feel like it's really hard to say who's ahead in the mental game here, you know? Both players have made some mistakes.
I think Patience did a great job holding on in game number 1 and just held on, got that nice composition, thwarted the attacks of RagnaroK, and eventually moved across the map and then killed him. Whereas the build really just did not work out for Patience in game 2. It was a interesting transition. It got totally scouted. RagnaroK was ready 150% the entire time, and Patience kind of just fell apart.
Well, in this next PvZ, it's going to be on RagnaroK Crest. The momentum will be given to the player who wins. They will be put on match point. Valdez, I keep wanting to call you Spicy Salmon, but I just can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it.
Can't bring yourself? It's okay. I forgive you, Wolf. I'll leave that up to GTR. I'll make him call me Spicy Salmon. Yeah, RagnaroK Crest, a very big map here. Not as big as Runes of Ceres, of course, but it's got its own little special parts of the map. It's going to be interesting to see how these two players play it out. I could see it working out a lot like game number 1. But either way, guys, the countdown has finished. Let's jump into game number 3 on RagnaroK Crest. RagnaroK Crest is your map for game number 3. And down on the bottom left, in the red, the Protoss player, it is Patience.
And his opponent in the bottom right in blue, it is his opponent, RagnaroK. It's a really cool icon. Patience's icon is actually an hourglass, which is very appropriate.
Well, he's got Patience.
Yeah.
But also likes to do timing attacks, or used to, at least. I feel like he's changed a bit as a player in Legacy of the Void, became more solid, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think he's yet to the level of Hero, but maybe if he can win a couple SSLs, he will get there.
Definitely, it's got a long way to go to live up to Hero. Not so much Liquid Hero, but...
Shots fired.
Yeah, he's in Code S. All right, he's doing better this season.
He'll get there.
I do want to give him, you know, some credit and stuff. But anyway, it's very important. By the way, I want to talk about this briefly. I feel like if you're a fan of Korean esports, you have a fan of certain players, always keep track of what tournaments they're playing in, and you know, shout them out, follow them, because these guys do play in online tournaments every now and then. So follow them on Twitter, check out what they're doing. Because the two biggest leagues, the StarLeague and the GSL, the two star leagues, if you will, are, you know, there's a huge gap between them. So if your favorite player is out of both of those, you know, follow them on Twitter, find out what they're up to, because they're not just like, oh, well, I guess I'm just gonna chill and eat kimchi until. No, it's not. Oh,
What?
they're like, oh, I don't know what those Korean guys are doing over there.
I'm going to Busan to go to Haeundae and sit on the beach. Yeah, it's summer now.
It's like, I don't know what those Korean guys are doing over there. They're not in the tournaments where they can't practice. I don't know. No, it's like these guys are playing in games. They play in tournaments. There are a few non-region locked tournaments that exist. There was one anyways, and IEM Taipei. Like, these things will be popping up. There's online tournaments, so check out your favorite players.
Yeah.
I always do want people to support the players, even if they're not in these tournaments, because they are practicing, they are training hard, and that's what keeps the scene alive.
That's a good point, actually, because, you know, not everybody has the luxury of staying up every night, you know, until the wee hours of the morning to watch these guys. Maybe they catch a couple VODs here and there. Maybe you're watching a VOD right now of this cast. Not you guys live, of course, but
it's like a time
future,
machine. Yeah,
Mr. Guy in the future is watching.
You're speaking through time right now.
Yeah, I'm talking to that guy watching the VOD. Or, you know, the guy who's watching our new Pro League rebroadcast. Throw that out there. That comes on every day, I think, after Pro League at 2 a.m. KST. Korean Standard Time, so mark that up to your time.
Well, a bit of pressure here. We haven't talked too much about this game in particular. It's been pretty calm until this attack hit. And worker count, pretty dead. Even 6 Lings do go down, but it's been a, as you guys can see just from looking at it, a very, what's the word, even game from the start to finish, or from start to now.
Yes, we do have an Oracle on the way, but just to finish off that point, I mean, it's really about how much effort you put into following these players. Of course, as Wolf was saying, they don't just disappear. So if you're following them on Twitter, you're trying to catch all the online leagues, you know, the VODs or whatever, then they'll always be there, and then you can follow them whenever.
Yeah, and if I'm sure there's probably very few people do not know of this resource, but I do want to tell you, Liquipedia, best resource for information in esports, period. I don't care if you want to look up Smash Bros. Tournaments. Guess what? Not only do they have all the stats for that, they'll tell you which character they played in which set, okay, at Apex or Genesis or whatever. Go on that website, check it out. You can find the Twitters of the players as well, so that's how you can reach out to them.
Yep.
Really great database, and if you feel so compelled, hell, you can upload on it, you can edit it, you can make it even better. It's a community-driven site, so.
Very true. Well, we do have a bunch of Adepts coming across the map. Only Lings so far for RagnaroK here. It does have a Queen, and it looks like Patience is going to try to fight with this Oracle, but there's a couple of Queens and a Spore around here. So it looks like he's just going to trade here really effectively so far with his Adepts and try to snipe that Spore first.
This is one of the strengths of the Adept. Oh, I did not expect him to actually go there. I thought he was going to cancel. Korean Combat just going crazy about that. I mean, it was a pretty big move there, forcing the Lings to come back there, and then they all escaped. Meanwhile, more drones going down. It's a worker lead now for Patience, but one of the scariest thing of the Adept is the Lings have to go chase the Shade or they get away, and while they're chasing the Shade, he's killing the Spore Crawler. He's killing any drones that are nearby. It's essentially the Adept is in almost in 2 places at once. It's like 1.5 places at once. And a pretty big lead, I would say, to Patience because he was able to do all that damage, force all those units out. And he's basically even in worker count. He also has a 3rd Nexus on the way up, which is basically essentially free right now because there's no pressure they can put on it.
He's not done. I mean, there's still a lot of Adepts in here. He's going to snipe the Queen, snipe the Spore, and there's a big fleet of Phoenixes over here. 3 is even enough to fight against the Overlords. He can pick up the drones if he wants. These Adepts not so lucky, but he's wrecking havoc over here at this 3rd base.
Trying to turn every drone that survived into a Spore Crawler, even though the placement is a bit iffy. He definitely could fight with those Lings there. It wouldn't be a good trade. And oh, a Stasis Ward coming in here as well. It procced on the Larva. That's unfortunate. That could have been so sick. Either way, man, like you're saying, he's supply blocked. He's losing Queens now. Oh, bad rally on these Overlords.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, he does lose all of the Adepts, so the aggression is going to stop here. But Patience has got his 3rd base up now.
He even delayed that one drone from coming out, Valdez, with the Stasis Ward. It came out a little bit slower. Hey, that's lost mining time. Starcraft is about the little things. Well,
that it is.
I mean, we're seeing more Overlords be misrallied here. This is a Phoenix fleet, as you said, and now he's going to kill Queens. This game is essentially over. There is no comeback from here, I'm afraid.
Once you're losing this much, you try to get out Hydras. You have this many Phoenixes in the sky. 1 Spore is not enough. All of these drones could go down. As much energy as he's got, that's how many drones he's going to lose.
Yep. He has 16 drones. Okay, he just made 12 more. But for a second there, he had 16 drones. To the 50. Currently have Patience on 3 base. He's now going for massive Adept follow-up. And I just don't see there being any way of RagnaroK holding this. The Glaives coming up.
Yeah, I love this pressure from Patience at the 3rd base with Phoenix Adept so far. I love this run by. Just talking about very reminiscent of other Zergs who love to run by Leenock. One of those guys. RagnaroK beginning to show some of that. These Phoenixes actually losing some opportunities to snipe some of these Hydras that are coming out of the Larva. Not grouping up. Does catch one, it looks like, and an Overlord.
Does get a little bit of damage done, and he has spent every single Larva he had into drones to actually bring the worker count back up to his favor. We do have a Baneling Nest on the way, which is not, it's not too common, but it's not out of the question. We have seen players try to use Banelings versus Adept to not very much success yet, but the fact that we've seen pros try to do it means it is working for them in some practice and some sense of it.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this works out.
I don't know if you caught it, but Hydra using Mass, Baneling, and ZVZ against a Hydra Lurker composition worked out against a laser was really cool.
Yeah, I did not actually catch that game live, but I did hear about it.
Yeah. So, RagnaroK going to try it in another matchup here. I don't believe he's got Baneling speed.
The thing is, Banelings are AoE units, so if you have enough of them, they do a ton of splash damage. Like, ST killed Thors with Banelings.
If you pull a Lucira, I mean, it's possible.
Exactly, a true. All right, so this is a ton of Banelings coming down here. They're actually considering engaging on these Adepts, but they're not sure about what they want to do here.
Kind of running around. Not doing much. The Adepts are getting so much damage in the main. 18 drones have gone down here.
This is just too much damage. There's a lot of Hydras, and they are going to push some of these Adepts back, but there's so many Phoenixes here, too. They can lift up the Hydras if he gets a solid engage. So many Overlords dying. Almost looks like at this point, Patience is playing with his food, you know?
Yeah, in a way, for sure. I mean, RagnaroK down to 30 drones on 3-base against a 3-base Protoss with 53 workers.
You know, you can see in that moment with this Baneling movement, he just decided, I don't know if this is even going to be good enough. I don't even know if I want to kill these Adepts with this. I need something more. Like, I need the ultimate hit. Yeah.
So, here are the Phoenixes in the main, sniping every single drone. Anything that's living in the main has now died. That is not a building.
The Sport Crawler is like just a bit too heavy, but I bet if all those Phoenixes work together, they could pick it up.
Yeah, maybe. You need about 50 Phoenixes to lift a hatchery, so.
Oh, looks like he's just going to go straight up on top of this and engage. Oh, a bit sloppy, though, with the Phoenixes, some hesitation.
Yeah, I mean, he's got enough Hydras now where if the Phoenixes fight alone, it's not going to work, and if the Adepts fight alone, it's not going to work. So Patience needs a good engagement still.
This almost never happens, by the way, where a Zerg player is out of workers and has to all in. It's usually the other way around, but we're going to see it here. He's not making any more drones at home. He has to win with this push, and spoiler alert, it's not going to work.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of Hydras, all of these Phoenixes, very low on energy too, but there's just not enough Hydras, there's not enough units for the Zerg, too many Adepts, heavily upgraded, and that's going to be it for game number 3. Patience is going to thwart it, GG.
GG, what a weird game we saw there. Like, pretty crazy. I feel like Patience could have ended that game a while ago, but he was having some commitment issues. And then next thing you know, eventually, there's just too many kills. I mean, like you said, anything that's living got picked up and killed. RagnaroK started to be feeling terrible after that game because he just had no space to work with. He had no tools. Oh, no!
Careful.
That's what the drones wishes they could have done. They could have burrowed like that when the Phoenixes came in.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
Well, I have good news for RagnaroK. The next map is Prion Terraces.
Okay, all right, that is good news.
Yeah. Could force a game 5